when I look back at those situations, I genuinely did not fuck nobody over. I genuinely did not, I was trying to help. But sometimes you could do more harm in a situation than help. Sometimes you are not going to help. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're going to try to help and you're not going to help. It actually is going to make the situation worse. So this is where sometimes we need to not help as much as we want to help. Sometimes it's like, no, maybe I need to sit this one out, you know? Right, right. So now I have better boundaries in my life. I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to save every person in the way of my home, opening up my home to people. As much as I would love to, sometimes I'm like, I can't help you. And it's not to be an ass. It's not to be fucked up. It's just, I don't want those kind of problems in my home. I don't want the bullshit. I don't want the drama under my roof. So I say no. And I feel like sometimes I've been in a homeless shelter before, a couple times, due to other people's shit. Yes. But the thing about it is, regardless to how I ended up in a homeless shelter, it was still my choice to fuck with these people. It was still my choice to believe these people had my back. It was still my choice, at the end of the day. So I take that responsibility of it. Like, damn, I made the wrong choice betting and thinking that someone had my back, at the end of the day. And I've been homeless a couple times in my life. So I had some very rude awakenings in my life. Oh yeah. What? Most of the time, it doesn't bother me, Tucker. It doesn't bother me to be the villain in somebody's story because I know that's unhealed bullshit, right? But it bothers me for someone to get at me months, years later, to try to talk shit to me. That's what bothers me. Right? Exactly, exactly. And I'm okay with that. I've learned how to say no, and I've learned how to not be there all the time. And I feel like if someone needs to go to the homeless shelter, they should go to the homeless shelter. And I think it's an experience. If you get to the point of where you need to go to a homeless shelter, you probably should. And it's meant for you to have that particular experience. Because when I look at it, when I open my home to certain people, I've lost my place. You know what I mean? Lost my place a couple times helping others. And then they brought all their drama, all their bullshit, all their fighting, all their carry on. And then I lost luckily I've never been actually evicted. You know what I mean? But I've lost my place in that way. And I've had to move, you know, because of the bullshit of other people. So I think at the end of the day, where I'm at in this point, if you get to that point, someone I know that unfortunately you lose your place, I'm not offering my home. I'm not, especially when I know that your life is drama or chaos, or you and your baby daddy got crazy issues. I'm not opening my home to that. And I don't feel like that's fucked up. And I don't feel like I'm a bad person because nope, I'm not open. Nope, not doing it. Oh, boo. We're going to send her some love and some light and some support, Danielle. Oh, I know. I know it has nothing to do with me. It's just crazy when you're working through stuff. And I'm not the type of person, like, if I haven't talked to you in a long time, I'm not going to sit and still judge and say you're the same person. Like, if I haven't talked to you and let's say we fell out and I haven't talked to you, I'm not going to assume you're the same person because I know we can change and we can grow. And I think we should always keep that in mind. Not to say that you got to let people back into your life, because I've actually, even though there's been some people that have grown and changed their life, I still refuse to let them back in mine because I just don't want to go backwards. And it's not because I hate them. It's not because I'm a fucked up person. It's just because I refuse to let that energy back in my life. It's a choice. We all have a choice at the end of the day, who we want to deal with, who we want to be a part of our lives. And when you really take stock of a situation or a friendship or a family member, when I weigh the pros and cons with something and there's more cons than pros, I'm okay. I don't want to go back. Even if someone has changed, I don't need to go back. I think sometimes we just need to really let go with love, and that kind of just, I'm letting go. And I hope you have a really good life, but not with anger, not with, sadness, not with any of that. Yeah, I've learned the hard way. I've learned some harsh lessons. But luckily, I will tell you guys, every time that something has gone down in my life, I have always been okay. And I've never been homeless for too long. So even when I was homeless, it was never months at a time. It was never, I would do a couple weeks. I think the longest I actually was in a homeless shelter was 3 months. That was it. That was the longest. I've always been okay. And I feel like every time I look at my past situations of whatever went down, I feel like I wouldn't have been okay if I was the problem. If I was the real problem of the situation, I don't think I would have been okay. I think things wouldn't have worked out. I think there would have been a lot of more shit that I would have had to go through. But it was like Spirit always was taking me away from the situation because I had poor boundaries. My poor ass boundaries got me in these situations, but here goes Spirit, kind of cleaning the way and purifying the way for me and kind of taking me away from the shit. And so when I look back at a lot of the situations, I'm very, very grateful that I've had the backing of my team that have always been there helping and assisting and getting me to where I need to go, right? No worries, Shondell. I was late too, boo. I was late. I didn't get on here until 9. Yes, Danielle. Spirit has shown me that despite all of my hardships, there was always a blessing in disguise. In each hardship, when I look back, there's always been a blessing. And I never had a hardship for too long. You know what I mean? It always works out. It always, I get to a place of I'm okay. I always rebuild. So it's just that one of those things when you look back, you're like, you know what? I know I can stand in my truth and say that I know I'm not a fucked up person. And it's rough, when you know your heart is pure and someone demeans you or comes at you in a certain way to make you out to be like this horrible person, that shit hurts. For anyone who has a true heart, it hurts. I don't care who you are, it hurts. It hurts to hear shit like that. It hurts for someone to put you in that place to even say that, especially when you know that you're not that type of person, especially when you know your character and you know your heart space. It does hurt. It hurts to hear. But I feel like regardless, we just have to let it go, right? We just have to allow ourselves to let it go and just be like, you know what? You may think I'm a shitty person. You may have this belief system that you've created about me. Fine. And it's hard to do, you guys. That's why I said what happened this morning. Very hard to do. It's very hard to just be like, all right, that's your belief about me. Okay, I'm just gonna let this go and we're gonna move on. It does. It really does. And I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of doing it to other people because I am. There's been times where I've judged after their actions. And sometimes I think I've judged too harshly. And my it's not up to me to judge somebody in that way. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's not up to me to do that type of judgment. So I feel like at the end of the day, we have to kind of take that step back and let it go. But I am not, and I always say this, hey, Susan, I'm not an ascended master. Okay. I'm not there yet. I am human on so many levels and I'm not elevated because sometimes it's like most of the time I won't say nothing and I won't engage and I won't, but there's going to be a time here or there that I'm going to say something. I had a message a couple nights ago from someone, and it's actually crazy that it was like a group. When groups, you guys will not believe the shit that goes on in these fucking spiritual groups, y'all. But months ago, I had some crazy shit happen, some approved readers, the owner of another group, and I got a message not too long ago from the owner, with an apology. And I commended that person for that. But I still don't want to entertain it. I still don't want to open up a pathway of friendship or to know the person because I feel like why? Why? You know, there's no sense to go backwards. So even if we let it go, Even if we get the apology or we don't get an apology, right? I think at some point we just gotta like ask ourselves, is it worth it at the end of the day? Is it worth to entertain? Is it worth to deal with? Is it worth to go through the drama? Is it worth to open up that channel? Or do we just say, like I said my piece to both of those situations. One of them was a little bit harsher than the other one, I will admit, but only because on one of them, it was like I had just had to say my piece basically. And the other one was just like, sorry that you're going through what you're going through. Thank you for the apology. I wish you well. Right, 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 right. Um, it's hard. It's hard sometimes. Not that I'm harboring anything, but it is hard because sometimes you're just like, if you only knew what the situation with you caused. You know what I mean? I think some people they're always about them. They don't realize what they've caused for someone else. And when you're on the receiving end of someone's shit, and then let's say they reach out to you to say, I'm sorry, it's very hard because you're like, man, you don't know what that caused me. But thank you for the apology. It's like, thank you for saying sorry, but damn, you really don't know what that caused me. What shit I had to fucking grow and move and change. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes, and if I've ever done that to someone, you know what? I would want them to tell me that, of course. And I would have no problems looking at the situation to say like, damn, maybe I was fucked up in this situation. Maybe I did this wrong. Like I said, I don't have no problems looking at that. But I think some people are so still far in their shit that they don't even see the damage that they caused you. And it's unfortunate that you'll maybe never get that apology. Maybe all you'll get is someone jumping in your fucking inbox talking shit to you about what they think you did to them, right? Right, Susan. Right, right. Yeah. I'm glad you did that. Now, you know what? I don't entertain the bullshit. Like I said, you guys, I've been through a lot on this platform, especially on this platform. I'm not even, we won't even go past the platform, but I've had a lot of people come for me, but I've never entertained it. I've never used my platform to clap back or come back on it. You know what I mean? I've just let it go. And I always said that I'm not going to defend myself, because if you get into the energy of trying to defend yourself, that's all your pride and ego anyway, right? Okay. um I feel like once you get into that place, that's your ego that needs to prove, right? That's all your ego. And I know this. I know it's my ego. Whenever I feel like I need to say my piece or I need to prove something in a moment, I know it's my ego. But we are human. That's part of our persona. It's a part of who we are, right? So, but I've never taken my social media platform to that level of talking shit about readers or ex-readers from my group or anything like that. Even though I've had a lot of them demean my name, throw my ass in the mud, talk major shit about me, on post, not even through, just messenger, on post where people have screenshot and showed me. I've had clients who have come to me with stories, but I've never used my platform in that way because I think that's a shitty practice. And I feel like that negative energy will only bring me more negative energy, right? Oh, true, Tucker. Oh, of course. I know, because you want to say something. You want to be like, man, dude, you don't know me from nowhere. And that's the biggest thing we're talking about is when you just run